hello to everyone all around the world. Andrew, we're going very global today. Very global.
Super global, with one of my favorite global superstars, it has to be said.
I know, I love it. And I feel like in preparation with the Olympics, like I feel like we're talking about global association excellence, and there's no one better to have. I mean, I'll give, I never refer to him as Octavio, but Bobby Peralta, the founder and volunteer CEO of the Philippine Council of Associations and Association Executives, is with us today. So excited. Hi, Bobby. How are you?
I'm good, and greetings from the Philippines. Thank you, Elisa and Andrew, for having me in your very laudable and popular podcast.
Well, thank you so much. We're making our inroads. I think, now that we're 4 years old and 100 episodes in, this is probably about the right time where we were ready for you. We've worked out the kinks.
Yeah, we feel qualified to talk to you now.
Now we're ready.
Yeah, we feel
Now
like
we're ready.
Yeah.
It took us some practice.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
But you've been doing amazing things at PCA for gosh, I think longer than anyone appreciates. How are things going with the association sector in the Philippines these days?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I founded this association as a way of giving back and a personal advocacy of mine. Having been sort of fated to this profession, I never thought I will be, loving and working on. As you know, I'm an engineer by training, and then I went to banking, and all of a sudden I'm trusted into the association world, knowing nothing. So I did self-study. I became a member of the American Society of Association Executive, and from there on, I thought after 30 years, I said maybe it's time for me. So in 2013, October, we put up the PCAAE, and it's a long name, but that's the only one available, when you registered in our registry. So with that, we launched it the following month in November during our first association summit, which was organized and sponsored by the Tourism Promotion Board. Their motivation is because they, associations run many events, conferences, and exhibitions. So they thought maybe if there's one group, then they'll be talking only to one group rather than individual associations. So that's it. It's as I said, of personal advocacy, and now we're on our 11 years, and
wow, congratulations.
With God's graces, we're going strong.
Congratulations. Well, I know as you as an organization have matured and expanded, so has the association and the association executive profession within the region. We are doing some pretty exciting things together. And I don't know, Andrew, do you have a drum roll? Or you?
Oh, I will. Don't worry.
You even know what I'm talking about? Now that we're on video, I can see when you have these blank looks. Like, come on.
It's not. I'm just. It's not a blank look. It's like I'm being entertained. I'm watching you, and I'm just like I'm watching the television, really. So I'm not. I forget I'm part of it.
I'm sorry, Bobby. And Andrew thinks this is all about him. He thinks this is all about him. But what I think we came to appreciate when we were developing the certificate in association governance specifically for PCAAE, it was how much of an opportunity this is when you're coming into a marketplace that wants to learn, that wants to evolve, that wants to improve, and there's hunger for not only the directors and the staff to get better, to learn more. I've been really excited about the feedback that we've gotten, and wondered what you're hearing about the certificate in association governance. How is this 12-week program being received?
Yeah, I mean, just to tell you first that we started with, just put back, in the Philippines, many associations are run by volunteers, and by volunteers meaning that there's a board of trustees. We call it board of trustees here, not directors. So they get elected, and then they create their own committees to run the association. But our advocacy is really more on trying to have a separate management or executive team. So there's the delineation between the board of trustees, which is strategic oversight, fundraising, and strategic direction, and then the executive team. So I would venture to say we don't have any research yet, but that 9 out of 10 associations here are run by volunteers, and only one perhaps would be run by by the structure that I've mentioned. That there's a separate board and a separate executive team led by the executive director, secretary general, or sometimes CEO as they call it. So that's the dynamic. So we started first with a certificate course in association management, similar to CAE, but we call it CPAE, which is a certified professional association executive. And I've been thinking for quite some time now to have something for the board of trustees because of the dynamic. So it was providential. I was fortunate to meet Andrew and yourself to finally come up with this certificate in association governance. To answer your question, I think there's interest. I've informed the board about it, and there's interest. Only thing is, as I said, it takes some time to really promote and encourage members of the board to participate in our certificate in association governance.
I'm pretty certain, though, Bobby, that once they've heard this podcast, I'm pretty confident we're going to be swamped with registrations. We'll probably be running multiple cohorts.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, the board of trust, the board or volunteer leaders, they often are, they're juggling many things, their own lives, their own jobs, the volunteer role, and asking for help is not always what they are best at. So I wouldn't call them a skeptical audience, but I think they just get busy doing the work.
And that's a common issue, worldwide. I mean, for any, and in fact, it's a common headache for, volunteer-led and volunteer sort of volunteer operations, as well as organizations that have a professional staff. And so actually, expecting anybody who's joining, an organization to lead an organization, expecting them to just simply know what governance is, what corporate governance in an association context is a big ask. It's a huge ask.
And not you have to know that in order to know that you don't know.
Absolutely. You don't know what you don't know.
You have to know the one end to identify the gap. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
One reason that I wanted also to pursue this, I mentioned to Andrew before, is that one direction we wanted to pursue is to work with our Securities and Exchange Commission, which is the registry of for-profit and non-profit organizations here in the Philippines. And when I say non-profit, that includes association. I know that the SEC or the SEC has been a little bit remiss in the non-profit sector, meaning that they're not really paying too much attention, because what I hear is that less than only 50% of them are providing reports that are required to them annually, like we call it the general information sheet and the audited financial statements. So they're not really looked after. And I thought maybe after running this program with you, and we go to the Securities and Exchange Commission and say, hey, we have something like this, and we thought maybe we can help associations here be able to be, to govern better and more professionally. So that's one way we would like to go. With that, some kind of compliance or a stick, maybe, maybe associations will realize that there's really a need, because there's a lot of problems in association, in terms of, sometimes fraud, sometimes just simple malfeasance and so on. And that's why as I said, we would like to pursue this as a long-term step for growth of associations here in the country.
And I think for me, the key term you used there, Bobby, was professionalism. And I think it's really important that we recognize that just because people are volunteering doesn't mean that
Yes,
they
exactly.
shouldn't be professional, that they shouldn't be equipped with the training, the opportunities for learning, and to approach their leadership roles, in a really, in a professional, with a professional approach. And I think, and I know we've discussed the lengthy opportunities that this program, offers, but I think, the reality is, from a, and this again, this is, a universal, I think, a universal truth. The value that associations, trade bodies, membership organizations add, to the Philippine economy, is significant. And the more that we can do to demonstrate, the level of professionalism within associations in the Philippines, I think that'll go a long way then to demonstrating to our colleagues in government and elsewhere, and in the private sector as well, that actually Philippine associations provide credible, trusted, authoritative partners in, driving forward innovation and creativity, in industry, and I think that's a really, for me, when we talk big picture, I mean, obviously, we've structured the program so that it responds to the individual needs. How do we understand good governance? How do we understand the characteristics? What are the legal duties? What are the regulatory obligations, etc.? And
Right.
and how do we perform as trustees? What kind of behaviors we expect. But actually, if we take a step back and look at it, at the bigger sort of national level, for me, the opportunity is huge. And I don't think you can over exaggerate the potential that we've got here to really demonstrate to stakeholders, to outside interested parties. And actually, as I'm talking, I'm saying the Philippines, but I know, again, you and I have spoken at length about the opportunities in which we can, spread this, spread this opportunity across, Southeast Asia, and with, with colleagues, across the, across Asia Pacific. So I think this is, personally, I'm very enthused about the opportunity, needless to say.
You're in love with the program that you helped build. Shocker.
Well, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right, actually. I know when it comes to building governance programs, there's nobody better than me. So
it's your thing.
you're
It's your
right.
thing. It's your superpower. And I want to pause for a moment because I think we're so excited about it. We've been marketing it and talking about it for a couple of months now. I want to just pause and break it down a little bit, because when people hear about a certificate, they, that can mean a lot of different things. A certificate in association governance, especially one intended for a trustee, for a volunteer leader, that isn't as common. So when we built this, and in consultation with Bobby, we wanted this to be a program that could be managed in your extra time, knowing how busy everyone was. So we built this out as 4 modules, with, I would say, 75% of it being virtual, being self-guided, and then the opportunity to come together face to face for a cohort discussion, for a presentation, for that type of not only networking, but group think and evolved learning together as a cohort. So this is built into 4 modules, as you discussed, with that final in-person presentation and project. It's really a 4-month engagement that has little bites throughout that 4-month period, so someone can balance it along with their very busy schedule.
I'm just going to link that to our white paper on bite-sized learning. I'm just, putting
of course, we have built this with modern learners in mind, with attention span, with learning objectives. And I think it's important to note that we recognize that most of the people coming to this are either new to their role or new to the legal and regulatory requirements of a board of trustees. So it's a great entry point. Bobby, would you imagine that this should be suited for a board, a chair, for an incoming officer, for all boards? Who do you think is the right kind of audience for this?
Well, if you ask me, I think it's a combination of all. It's not only the chair, but really incoming, new, or existing board members, including executive, like the executive director and the staff that are assisting the governance of this association. So yeah, we're talking about of course our focus is really on the board members, but as I said, there should be also a good relationship between the board and the executive team, so that there will be a well sort of balanced relationship and working relationship with the board and the executive staff.
Right.
And
I mean, that's such an important partnership. Go ahead, Andrew.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I think you're spot on in terms of partnership. And I think sometimes what we forget, we do an awful lot of training for trustees, directors, volunteers. Actually, it's quite rare for me to go in and deliver training for staff on what constitutes corporate governance. Again, I think we're often guilty of assuming that because I work for an association, I therefore understand all the the structures and the governance intricacies of the organization, and more often than not, people don't. And so actually this is, and through no fault of their own, because why should they? If you've never done it, why should you need to know it? So this for me it's as much about demystifying governance, because I think often people sometimes are a bit weary of it because they perceive it as a bit boring, or they're a bit scared of it because they perceive maybe there's don't you dare, I can see you.
I don't think it's boring. I don't
Not
think
anymore.
it's
You've done not anymore. Now you've been working with
no,
me.
you've changed my entire perspective on
Or they're a bit weary of it because they, there's personal liability, or they're not sure about, or what the parameters are of their authority, or etc. Accountability. And
a
actually,
little scare is okay. A little scare makes them pay more attention.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. But I also think it's really important that people appreciate, learners appreciate that it's not that complicated. And I don't mean to, devalue it, because it's, that's what I mean to do at all. But
Andrew can master it, if Andrew can master it,
exactly,
anyone can do governance.
exactly, anyone can. And I think, it's about demystifying, and it's about enthusing as well, because I want people to recognize that being a member of a board as a volunteer, being someone who's recruited in, but being, that is a professional privilege that actually we should all just be excited with about the opportunity. Too few people are. And so I think we can set the sort of we can set not the agenda. We can sort of set the what's the word?
Set the table. Set the
Yeah,
table for.
Yeah. Sort of for how we understand.
It's
how
okay, Bobby. We're family
governance.
friendly. We're family friendly, Bobby. She's
Sorry.
welcome.
Listeners are going to be those are not on video, are going to be wondering what is going on. Bobby's just taken his video off because his little girl's appeared behind him. I got no problem.
She could steal the show. She could steal the show.
Absolutely. Turn the camera on, Bobby. We don't care at all.
I think it's indicative of how much we know. Bobby's a volunteer CEO.
Exactly.
And it's an important reminder of how much everyone is juggling. And I think we built this program to help empower boards, staff to get comfortable with things like governance and governance as leadership, so then they can throw their time and their energy and their passion into the mission
and not be booed and not
people
be
up. Right, not be afraid by it, not be held back by it, not be distracted by it, or have it become an inefficient, overly time-consuming part of what they do as a volunteer.
Exactly.
So yes, we completely understand, and I would say Association Transformation's a family show. Andrew, should we have our kids on? I think Alex, my son's been on once. He's been in like the back seat of the car.
Oh yes, yes, yeah, yeah. Alex just burst into the back of your car, not realizing we were recording. That's right.
Right. That's
Then
life.
left.
That's life.
Then
That's
left.
life. And then left. Then I threw him out. That's right.
I'm sure
We've
Pop-
never had Poppy on. We've never had Poppy on.
I don't remember. It's because I purposely record when she's in school.
Well,
Otherwise,
you
we would
have
have her on.
you have used her microphone. You have used her troll karaoke microphone.
That's true.
But
Sorry about the interruption.
we love it. We love
All
it.
right, it's all right. We're never scripted, so don't worry, it's fine.
No. And again, an important reminder that these 4 modules are going to be, they're going to be on demand. They're going to be recorded while also offered live virtually. And then, Andrew and I will be in the Philippines in November at the end of the cohort to bring this group together and hear these presentations, to acknowledge the trustees and staff's accomplishments and present certificates. So we're really excited to see kind of where this goes. And I know we don't usually do infomercials, but this is one where I put my name to this. I put my expertise to this, my time to this. I'm truly committed to this certificate program, and I'm so appreciative of Bobby for being our pilot, for being our partner in rolling this out. And I do hope we'll see. I hope we'll be turning people away, because there's no one who doesn't need this. And I would say the person who thinks they don't probably needs it the most.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
And if there's one thing we're really good at, is people turning away from us. So
that's not me, Andrew, just you. That's your part of the partnership. But exciting stuff. I mean, again, everything from good governance, effective governance models, tools to function as a highly effective board. We'll talk a little bit about futures literacy, strategic planning. And I think this is not only this 4-part program, but then what next?
Yeah.
That's always been my philosophy as a consultant. I want to teach people to fish. I want to make sure we're not just giving them the tools, but we help them understand what's next.
Yeah.
What does ongoing board evaluation look like? What does skills assessment look like? Recruitment and succession. Yeah. We've talked a lot about succession this year, and I want to make sure this isn't just one and done, but this helps build the validity and the success of every board and every board member that goes through it. So really exciting opportunity. And Bobby, we're excited to come see you. We're excited to kick this puppy off. It does launch in September. So if you're interested, we'll put the details of the program and the registration link in our show notes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Let's see. Are we limiting this? I think we should totally limit this.
Yeah, no more than 100 registrations per cohort.
What? All right, so we go mass consumption first.
I'm trying to think. No, I don't think we haven't officially limited it. But the reality
I'd like to limit it. I mean, and again, this is a conversation that
I was going to say, should we be having a business development conversation in the middle of a podcast recording?
I think it's unique, because think of our audience. They are launching certificate programs. They are launching training and education. They are launching certifications, and understanding your audience's, I always talk in terms of love language, whether it's time availability, whether it's the value of the certificate to their professional advancement moving forward. I think that having a more intimate experience would be of higher value. So again, yes, Andrew, we always pull back the curtain. We fight in front of the kids all the time. Come on, people, that's what people come here for.
I know. It'd be nice if sometimes people just thought there was some semblance of professionalism in this.
Of course there is. We've been developing this program for over a year.
Poor old Bobby's just watching us in wonder, thinking, what on earth have I got myself into?
We know that this is what associations do, and we hope that you're not having this conversation in front of your board or your CEO, but these are conversations and different areas of marketing and business strategy that you should be thinking of as an association. So we understand that our audience are both potentially eligible audiences for this specific certificate, but also juggling these same kind of conversations and challenges at their own association. Bobby, what other trainings and educations do you all offer? Is this part of a suite of trainings that you guys offer, or is this really the tip, the beginning?
We do 2 webinars a month.
Oh, great.
Yeah, this time around, and even during the pandemic, we had webinars anywhere from member engagement, retention, to revenue generation, to all this gamut of association management. But for me, this certificate course in association governance really completes our purpose. The purpose of PCAAE is to advance association management and make associations well-governed and sustainable. So we had the side of association governance management already as a certificate course. Now this completes our certificate of association in governance, completes our mission, as I said. So managing association and governing association, that completes, and I'm very pleased and happy, and I'm elated to partner with you both to make this mission come true.
Thanks.
That's right. So you already have the CPAE,
Mm-hmm.
and that's an impressive accomplishment. And how long has that been out? How many years has that been available to your membership?
We started it in 2015.
Okay, so you've already had renewals, and you've had people.
Yeah, we had about 70 plus sort of graduates from CPAE, and they're there to to help us also in our association and to promote. One association, for instance, the Philippine Retailers Association, had all their staff
Wow.
our CPAEs, and that's we're talking about 8 to 10 staff from the Secretary General down to the staff. So we're really pleased that doing some small wins in the association world, because I mentioned in the Philippines there are about 6,000 nonprofits, including associations, and our members are only 50. And you can imagine, the opportunities that Andrew is mentioning. And now we're just concentrated in Metro Manila, and the Philippines, as you know, is an archipelago, and many other centers of commerce and associations all over the country. So the potential is great. We just have to have this first small step. And I think that, as they say, Confucius, I said, the travel will start with a very first step.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and we are so excited to be a part of it. I think it's an important reminder that this program is open to non-members. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So
yes.
we're doing this for the greater good. We want everyone, member or not member, also within the region, because
Yes.
again, 85% of it is virtual, is on demand, is
Right.
live online, and just that final piece is in person. So an exciting opportunity, and we'll be sure to put all the details in our show
Yes.
notes here. And Bobby, thank you so much for letting us be part of this new undertaking. We're excited to bring our content and our experience and expertise to you, and to association volunteers and leaders in the space. Andrew, anything to close out with? You seem like you're awake now. I see you want to chime in.
Oh no, I'm just having a moment of zen, thinking, thank you,
Oh,
Bob.
the Confucius
Yeah,
quote.
exactly. It just kind of brought me back down to a calm level. No, thanks, Bobby. I appreciate it. I know Elisa does as well. We both really appreciate the opportunity to work with you, and I think it's gonna. I think we're gonna be regulars in the Philippines here on in.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, you're welcome to come. Yes.
Well,
looking
very
forward to welcoming
exciting.
you.
The Certificate in Association Governance, sponsored by, hosted by PCAAE and Bobby Peralta. We are looking forward to it. It does start with our first module in September, so don't wait. Learn more, register soon, and help position yourself to be that board of trustee or that association staff person who can rise to the occasion. And with that, I don't know, this makes me want to go study up. I feel like I've got to go work on my modules.
I'm
gonna
gonna
raising the bar.
We're gonna go through the modules detail by minute detail, okay, Elisa, just so that you're fully up to speed before we get into the room with all the students, because I know that you love it so much.
Well, I think we should tell people here, I am going to be leading these things. So if you are afraid of or opposed to or turned off by Andrew in any way, please know that the programming will be delivered in partnership.
Ouch.
I'm not going to make it painful. We're going to make governance fun. We're going to make governance fun.
That burns.
And
I am.
I will be heavily involved. So don't worry. Don't worry. I'm there for you. I've got you. I've got you. We'll talk about it later, Andrew.
Okay, yeah.
So check out this podcast, check out this certificate program, all of our other association transformation works and programming, wherever you get your podcasts, and at associationtransformation.org. Check out PCAAE and learn more about what Bobby and others are doing in the Philippines. And until next time, put your members and your mission first.